Hey, finally. Finally. Oh my word, technology is a horrible thing, everybody. Technology is a horrible thing. Especially when it goes wrong, right? It goes wrong, and it did then. Sorry, it's been a while since I've last done a live stream, I guess you can call this. There's no way I could make this into a video just because it would be like way too long probably, and also like the whole like trying to edit it down into some concise information would be impossible. So making it a live stream where you just look at the course and look at the map and do everything in real time, as you can probably imagine, is a heck of a lot easier. So yeah, welcome. I'm probably not going to get many cyclists watching this, but you know, who knows, you might get a ton of triathletes. Well, hopefully lots of you triathletes who are doing the 70.3 down in Swansea, which is next weekend. It's come around really quick. When we knew of it, like kicking off, when the event came about a good while ago, it really made massive news in the area. But it's had like mixed reviews from some who have seen the course. Specifically, I talk about the bike course because I have no knowledge of like swimming and running to a certain extent. So we're going to talk about the bike course today. Excuse me. I've got a bunch of tabs open, which hopefully you can see. Let me know if everything's working okay. Depending on where you're watching this, the quality of the video might be not as good if you're watching it on your phone. But anyway, everyone settled in. Hang on, a bit of it. I feel a sneeze coming. Okay, I think I saved it. Right. Okay, let's talk about the course. Let's talk about the event. Where do I stand on it? Because obviously I'm not a triathlete, but I am a cyclist, and I think I can hopefully give you some sort of practical information that you can take into the event, or I don't know, maybe if you're doing Ironman Wales, you know, I guess the courses could be. There's a lot of like similarities with them because they're so hilly, so exposed. It's typical Wales, really. This course, they couldn't have picked like, I suppose, a better course for the area, just because it's an area of outstanding natural beauty, but it's also just a great location to do a bike leg. So yeah, we have the schedule up here because I wanted to get familiar with what you'd encounter on the day. Obviously it's a very early start, it always is with these triathlons, and first athlete expected on the bike course at 7:30 in the morning. There's even some information on Spectator hotspots on the website, which I'll run through really quickly as well, because I think you know, I know the area quite well, so I'll be able to say if, you know, one is a good spot or better than another one. Because needless to say, there's bound to be one that I would say definitely avoid. So yeah, I won't speak about the bike. I won't speak about the swim or the run. I'll just talk about the bike. So any questions? We have a live chat, and if you're watching this on repeat, then you can actually comment down below. Or the live chat will actually be available to you, but I don't expect it to be really active. So anyway, let's crack on, because we're 5 minutes in already, and I don't want to make it too long for you, lovely people. So yeah, it says it's a hilly bike course, which I kind of half agree with. It is fairly hilly. I don't know whether it's hilly for what you'd usually expect for a 70.3, but it's it is only a fairly short event. It's obviously half, so what do you expect? More hills, less distance. So the weather forecast for the week is looking like sort of fairly mixed. So I'm sorry to say, but you're probably gonna either get rain. You're likely to get wind. You might get some sun, but it won't be cold. I can promise you that bit. Let's have a look at the course. I'll rearrange these tabs. So one loop, course distance 56 miles. So that is like 90k, give or take, for any of you who are using kilometers. By the way, the start list is stacked for this. The pro start list I've seen is there's Brownlee for starters. It's going to be a fast race if you're in the pro ranks, that's for sure. Bring your A game. The bike course, in my opinion, they couldn't have chosen any better roads. In fact, there's probably not many good roads on the Gower. I have heard more from local people then, I suppose, who are doing the event. Obviously, they've got a bit of an advantage from knowing the roads. I wouldn't say anything's dangerous on here, per se, but you do need to pay attention. So it's lucky that this isn't a full Ironman, potentially, and you're fighting, like, massive fatigue. It's quite good that it's a half, because you will need your wits about you at some stage. So you come out of the swim, you hit transition, and you come all the way along the seafront, down to Mumbles. And once you get to Mumbles, you swing past the Big Apple, and you climb ever so slightly. You can see the graphic at the bottom here. It's basically like pan flat, obviously, along the coast. You climb up a little bit, and this is where it starts. Like, you're basically up and down now for the whole day. But this section from, like, where you turn at Mumbles to, I'd say, probably around this area here. Yeah, you can see my cursor. Good, just checking. Like where this arrow is here, just below Bishopston. So from this section, so basically between the two arrows, that arrow and that arrow there, this section of road is really twisty. It's also through like a lot of residential areas. As you're coming out of there, you also have a really fast, quote unquote, sketchy descent into, I think it's Caswell Bay, where the road in effect just drops down away from you and it just plummets like very, very straight. And right at the bottom there's a kink. It kinks right and then immediately kinks left. But when you kink left, you've actually got on the exit of the corner, it's not really a full corner. I'm trying to basically, hang on, why am I even trying to explain? I've got Google Maps here. I'm so stupid. Because I do want to show you in really good detail. Because for any of you who are serious athletes, I'm sure a lot of you are putting a lot of time into this. Then you want to know what it's all about, right? So this is going to save you from actually going there and riding it, although it's probably too late now. But at least you'll get it. So this is the descent. You come down Caswell Road. You go past these caravans on your left, and then it kinks right, and then it kinks left, and this is the left-hander here. So as it kinks left, and it depends where they send you on the day, but can you see how the road swings like quite sharp around to the left? I would imagine if it's a closed or fully half-closed road, I would imagine they'd send you straight through there, because by trying to take you around that left-hander, I think it's almost like it defeats the point. Like, if they're going to close the road, they might as well just send you straight onto the other side of the road there and then get a run up the hill in the distance. which is a really nice climb. Make sure you check out the views on your left because it's really, really nice. You get a nice view of the bay. But yeah, this is probably your first sort of warning area. Can you see how it bends quite savagely around to the left? So just keep your wits about you on that section in case they don't take advantage of the closed road and send you straight through. So you come through this bit, you climb out of Caswell Bay, through Bishopston, and then out into Kittle. Again, it's all residential still. Worth checking the weather. This is windy, by the way. I always use windy. So let's have a look at this section here for Sunday. I just decided to have a boo-boo. We'll come back to that. Oh, no, there we go. So Sunday at 8 a.m, you can have a tailwind. So you can have a tailwind out to Mumbles, and then you'll be pretty sheltered. Whenever you're on this south coast of the Gower, you'll be really sheltered, basically. It's fairly well sheltered from high hedges, but you've also got like all of this kind of section here, this I don't know, I guess the heart of the Gower. It's basically a ridge. I don't know if you go over Cefn Bryn. We haven't got back to that. Yes, you do go over Cefn Bryn, which is the highest climb on the Gower, which is here, about 40 miles in. So anything south of that, so basically the outward leg, you should be sheltered. So you might actually get a tailwind. Or you might feel like a tailwind because you won't get a headwind anywhere. Okay, so we've dealt with that bit, the first 10 miles. You turn left onto this Kittle Road and you hit this first out and back section. So you'll recognise the road that you'll be coming back on in those last couple of miles. You swing right, and this road is a really nice road. So where you swing the left and you sort of join this South Gower Road, as we call it. This road itself is probably it's the best road on the Gower, in my opinion. Views to your left, but also it's like well maintained. The only significant climb you've got is kind of where this arrow is here, roughly, which is out of Park Mill. And I'm trying to find the map view. So Park Mill. The only significant climb you got is out of here, and it is through some trees, so pretty sheltered. And then you come out then into a more exposed section. You still head in this direction. Still heading west until you get to. I've got to switch between two maps. You go past Reynoldston, and it's main road all the way until you get to, I guess, the furthest section away from the start, and that is about 20 miles in. And then you hit some lanes. So Llandewi, Bury, Ferry Hill direction, Llangennith is over here. So this section here, there's no, like, this whole South Gower Road, it's like, you know, get some power out. There's no turns. There's no sort of, you know, possibly watch out for some, there's some roads that join onto this road, some smaller lanes. So keep your eye open for anything that might pop out that, you know, maybe shouldn't be on the course or something. It does happen. But these roads are fairly quiet anyway. Well, on a Sunday morning at 7:30 when you're going to be on this road, they're fairly quiet anyway. So if they're going to shut the road, it's going to be even quieter, you know. So I wouldn't stress about too much. And then you come down this road. So this is what that main road is like on the South Gower. Nice road. And then you take this this right turn here. So you're heading towards Bury Green. And no doubt they're going to send you down this fork rather than that fork, right? Because, you know, it's just faster. And then you're onto this lane. And this lane is, again, pretty good surface. Never had any problems with it. And that takes you all the way towards Ferry Hill. And yeah, I mean, it sort of twists and turns. But if you're traveling at speed, which I imagine a lot of you, probably doing 20 mile an hour, obviously the pros probably doing close to 30 mile an hour, whatever. But you'll there's nothing on there that'll catch you out. There's one pinch point. Where is it? Trying to do this when you're not actually on a bike, it's quite difficult. There's one pinch point here where the lane is quite narrow, but again, you're not going to meet anything potentially. It's not an open road, so it's and hopefully if it's dry you won't get all this sort of debris on the side of the road. This is obviously taken in like winter or something. Like, does it even say? I'm not sure, but anyway. So you'll be climbing then out of this lane, and you'll be joining on to like another main-ish road here, where you'll be going left, and you'll be heading towards the second sort of exclamation mark of the route that I would call it, where you need to have your wits about you, and that is over here at Llanmadoc. So you're going to be heading left here and along this road, and taking a sharp right here. It's not super sharp. It's a sweeping right-hander, but it takes you directly onto a long drag. So any speed that you're going to have off this road here, which is slightly downhill, it's going to come off as soon as you take that right turn. So you go over a cattle grid, of which there are many on this course, by the way. So if you love cattle grids, then you'll love this course. And we head up this hill, and we come to what I call the second point of the day, where you need to be really aware and switched on. So you crest this hill here by North Shore, which I'll show you on the map is like here, where this bit of green is up by Llanmadoc, and it descends rapidly. First of all through some trees, and again, no problems with road surface, by the way. There shouldn't be anyway. If it's a nice day, you'll get a lovely view of like my hometown over there on the right, and then you come all the way down this hill, and you will come out on this junction right here, which is a very sharp right-hander. So come wide, use the whole road, and if it is closed, then you'll be able to clip the apex and hopefully not land yourself up in the pub, although it wouldn't be a bad place to crash, would it really? Come wide and then back up to speed again, and then there's a little section through this village where you just have to be aware there's like a kink in the road, but it's a nice little downhill, left-hander, and then you're up like a fairly steep climb, which is right here, to get out of Llanmadoc. And then you're on some lanes. So this is mile 25. What are you, about halfway through? Almost. Mile 25. Some lanes past Wolby Castle that will take you to Llanmadoc. So although there's nothing really to speak about here, the lane is very undulating. Some amazing views to your left-hand side. There's some moments where you probably have to come out of the aerodynamic position and be on the bars, and just be mindful of I don't know, wildlife, anyone that might be out walking and doesn't know there's an event on. Like I said, you are at the furthest point away from the start now, so you imagine like any people that live in this area potentially don't know. You won't be surprised they don't know the event is on. So you head cross country through these lanes, past all these fields. You come to a T-junction, which you basically just go straight, and you head to Llanmadoc village, where you take this fork to the right. There's a petrol station there, so that's like a landmark. There's not many petrol stations on the Gower, so that's why it's a landmark. And you're now picking up what is our local club's Gower 10-mile time trial course. So I know this section of road, I've done it so many times, and I've done it at speed as well. So it's a very fast section of road. However, you do now have a headwind, and it depends on, if the weather's going to be raining, then potentially the wind has picked up, or if the weather's good, then potentially the wind has died down. So you don't really know what you're going to get until you get there, unfortunately. And there won't really be any signs up until this point that the wind is going to be strong. Like, it's the type of area where, like, if you're in a tailwind, you don't really feel the tailwind, but then when you turn and you go into a headwind, it's a headwind. So you don't really get the benefit anywhere, which I know is a bit of a bummer. So we are now heading up some more lanes. I know. People are saying more. Please, sir, I want some more. So we're taking this left, and I'll show you on the map. We've bared right, and now we're bearing left. So this junction here, don't be fooled, because there's like two roads. They're bound to have marshals there, aren't they? Obviously, but there's two roads to the left. One of them is a one-way only, so you can't go down it. You're basically taking that one there where the lane is straight ahead of you. So don't be put off by like how steep it looks. It's not as steep, and it's only like a minute. Like it's barely a lump. You get over it, and you're back into some proper lanes. And this takes you over Welshmore, which is one of the most underrated roads on the Gower, in my opinion. It takes you through a couple of like farm areas, and then you come out onto like a moor, which is really sort of picturesque on a nice day. Like, you can see Cefn Bryn on your right. You can see like lots of lovely wildlife, as long as they don't run out in the road in front of you. But yeah, and it's slightly downhill, so you get, as long as you don't have a howling headwind, you get a lot of free speed down here. So you can be rattling along at like 25 mile an hour and have no problem at all. So that is that section there, which not much to write home about. It's not as bad as they say. If anyone's told you that this course is like dangerous or like has like potholes, like there's cattle grids, yes, but like what, like a cattle grid is a cattle grid. You just, no, don't make it difficult for yourself. You just ride over it. Don't brake. Don't like steer. Just let the cattle grid do its thing. There's a couple of cattle grids on this course, though. I don't know if you go over them or not, or whether they might even put a mat down. A lot of events in the past that I've done, they put like a carpet down over the cattle grid, so it sort of protects your tires, protects your wheels, or whatever. But some cattle grids, they can be sunk just ever so slightly. Just be aware, like, you'll be able to see when you come up to the cattle grid, unless you're hitting them like at full speed. But like, be aware of like, pick your line over the cattle grid. If there's like if you can see there's a dip on the left side and there isn't one in the middle, then go through the middle. Just like, be aware of these things when you're coming up to them. Hopefully the event will have these sort of things, like, sort of half signposted, I suppose. But I'm just trying to talk you through it as best as possible to see if I can pick up on any. There isn't any on this road until you get to like the far end here. But there's a little junction here which you just go straight through. You go up another little climb here. Again, you're through some little farm areas. There's a little kink in the road there, but it's nothing major. Like, just cover the brakes. You don't need to potentially brake on it. This bit here where the road goes around to the left, it's quite narrow. So you're coming left. And as you can see, like, you can't see around the corner, although, like I said, if it's a closed road, you should be okay. That lane itself is pretty straight, that section there, so you can see then once you've taken that left turn, and there's nothing really, to startle you, I suppose. And at this point, we've just gone past, so where that kink in the road is roughly where this Gatorade and feed and 30-mile marker is. And then we're taking a right, and this is probably the third exclamation mark I'm going to add to my course recon for you. And that is this right turn here. The right turn itself is no problem at all, but it's this section here where you go down into the woodland. I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming it's this bit because I can see some woodland. But it drops down quite quickly. So you come down from there, where we're looking now. You come down to this left-hander, and it tightens up on you. So if you're coming down at some speed, like, it doesn't look it, but if you come down at it with some speed, it does tighten up on you, and maybe, you might overshoot it. You might drift wide on the exit if you're going in a little bit too quick. There's only a couple of, if you think about it, there's only a couple of moments where on this course you just need to, take a rain check and just back off ever so slightly, because you're better off scrubbing off 10 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour to give yourself that confidence to go through the bend, especially if you don't know it, than it is to just, hope and pray and go through it, because we've seen far too many accidents where, potentially when it's a closed road, it's also like a little bit, sometimes that can be worse. Like, if it's a closed road or partially closed, you're sometimes more likely to throw caution to the wind. And even on events where I've been, where it's been fully closed road, it's always worth just thinking about the what if, and just almost riding it as if you were riding on an open road, because it actually doesn't make that much of a difference. It does change your lines to a certain extent on fast corners, but at the end of the day, how much is it really mattering? So you climb out of here, and it's only that little bit I wanted to show you. And you pop out on the moors on the common, and I think you're taking a right here. Yes, you are. You're taking a right, and you're going back this way. So there's nothing to report here apart from one cattle grid you have to watch out for on this road, because it's the main road. This is the middle of the Gower Road. There is no other name for it, really. So you come along this road, and you are going to encounter one fairly steep climb. So you pop out on this lane. You have one fairly steep climb here, and then I think you have another one about here-ish, Llethryd, in this area. This is where the cattle grid is. So once you get over one hill, you go down that hill, and then that's at the bottom where you hit the cattle grid. So you'll hit it at speed. There's no real other way of doing it. If you slow down, then you're going to lose a lot of momentum, because once you go over it, you're onto the climb. So you kind of want to just brace yourself and get over it as quick as possible, really. And then you swing. Do you swing a left? No, you don't. You go all the way back this way. So you swing a right, and you come back to Llanmadoc. So we went on this lane going out, and we're now coming back. This is a good fast bit of road here. There's a cattle grid on this little junction that you got to watch for. That's a bit sunk, but you should be okay with it. Don't put too much weight on your saddle. Think further. Think light when you go over these cattle grids, because you don't want to pinch your tyres, obviously. So you get over that, and then you go back through Llanmadoc, back on this road here to Old Walls, which is the one we popped out on, coming out the first time. But you want to head straight this time, and you're heading down this tricky little descent to Ferry Hill. And it is fairly tricky, because the farmers might have been out over the week and drag some mud onto the road. This section of road here tends to get a little bit muddy. You can see this farm, it's very busy. These fields are very busy. So you come around this bend, and there's a lot of sometimes there's a lot of crap on the road. So it all depends on what the weather does over the next week, but just be aware on this section of road, basically. So you come around here, and then this is from here all the way down to here is all downhill. But it's round this right-hander where it drops down. You pick up a fair bit of speed, and then it's this left-hander which you can see on first entry to it. It doesn't look sharp, but as you can see, it just kinks really aggressively. So what I'd say is come into it a little bit wider than you think, and then just cut it really well, basically. Like take the apex really well, and you should have no problems, and then carry a lot of speed down that hill, and you'll be coming straight into this lane. So don't think like when you're coming down here, which is what a lot of us local cyclists do, you know, if we're turning here to go up this road, we scrub off a lot of speed because this bend is sharper than it looks. So when you're coming down it, because you're going straight here towards this 40-mile sign, don't scrub off any speed. Like, you'll be amazed at how quick then you'll come through this lane here, which, you know, you won't meet anything really coming through this lane, hopefully, but at least you'll get a quick entry into the lane. So that'll be a tip there, is carrying a lot of momentum into it, because there's a little bit of a kicker on this lane which takes you past this really famous like wedding venue. Giving you a bit of tourist information right here. And then you pop out on this kind of crossroads, which you just go straight through basically. And then you're onto a pretty significant climb, which is the largest climb of the whole route, I would say. At that like mile 39, 38 maybe, where it starts here and goes through the trees. So that's a pretty terrible shot on it. Google Maps let me down there. But you got a cattle grid to go over, which is like, it's really tough going over a cattle grid when you go in so slow. Like here, you've got no option really but to go over this cattle grid. But it's not one that's sunk, so it should be fairly easy to get over. And then this widens its way. Again, really nice road. Nothing bad to say about it. Through Reynoldston, bit of a drop here. And then you bear left at this fork. There's a nice pub there, King Arthur, actually. And then you come up to the top of Cefn, Bryn. King Arthur Stone is over here on your left, so give him a wave when you go past. But yeah, this is a shame you're going to have a headwind, I've got to be honest, because, well, hopefully you don't have a headwind. But this old boy, this is a 50-mile-an-hour descent. Easy, you know, if you don't have a headwind. Just because it's just like there's naff all on it, to be honest. Like, it's just, where are we? Like, this is it here. So you just come off the top. It's not even super steep. It's like, you know, 8% maybe. You know, watch out for sheep, watch out for horses, anything like that. You can carry a heck of a lot of speed all the way down here. Just think aero, get the big gear rolling, and you know, you'd be laughing, quite frankly. You'd be laughing. And you pop out then on the road right here where mile marker 35 is. So, you know, we've done this loop and we're going to come out on this road again. So you're going to have to go this way. And remember that cattle grid I told you about? The one that you have to carry speed into to get up a hill here? Well, you're going to have to do it again, but obviously the other way around, because basically the cattle grid is in a, well, it's in a dip like that. So you're going to have to carry speed both ways, you know, if you want a bit of help, a bit of assistance up the climb. If you want to think about safety, then scrub a little bit of speed off. But then you head back to mile 45. This is like, I guess, this is the motorway now back to Swansea. Like, there's not really much else to say about it. You head back through a Gatorade feed, and you're now heading, you know, you've done this road already, so you're now heading onto a bit of road that you haven't done. So you go past that lane that you basically turned off of, and you've got a long drag to this section here, which you'll be turning sharp right. It's a really big junction though, like it's a really wide road, so there's no need to, and it's slightly uphill to it, so you can use the terrain to naturally scrub off speed as opposed to, like, you know, using your brakes or anything else. So it's a quite a wide corner, as you can see there, but obviously this is the other side of the road as you'll be coming at it from here. But if they've closed the road and closed the junction and they've got marshals there, then, you know, use the whole road if you're able to. Slightly downhill, past the Swansea City football training ground right here. Swansea University, same thing. Past the airport, pretty cool place actually on the Gower. You might even be lucky and get a plane flying overhead as you're coming past here. Nothing to say about this bit of road. It's like I said, it's like the motorway back to, you know, where you came from. Pretty straightforward. No portals to note either. I mean, it's a theme developing here, and I mean, like, probably the worst part probably is like the first bit, you know, like from that, like this section here. So from Mumbles, this point here to like mile 12, that's probably your worst bit. But that's just me speaking, you know. But I'm assuming that most of you prefer the open road and would prefer something to look at, or, you know, prefer that feeling of speed. I just feel like this section here through all the houses, unfortunately, it's the only way to get you out of this area. Like, there is other ways, like there's a main road out of Mumbles through Oystermouth and Bishopston, but it's quite a savage climb, and you know, you put in that sort of 5 miles into the event, and yeah, there's quite a wide range of people abilities doing this event, so you've kind of got to balance it out, I suppose. And I don't know whether or not they get in touch with local triathlon clubs and things, or local cycling clubs, to kind of think about the road surface, climbs, you know, the type of abilities that ride around here. They should do, really, because it's part and parcel of creating a route, I suppose. But that's probably your worst bit. You know, that's the bit where you've got road furniture. That's the bit where you've got drains, portals, parked cars potentially. You know, you've got all this sort of stuff to think about. Whereas out here, you know, the most you have to think about is potentially a cattle grid and, you know, 1 or 2 sheep. You know what I'm saying? So it should be a pretty good course, as long as it doesn't rain, as long as it's not 40-mile winds. Because I've been out there when it's in those conditions. It's not good. So you're going to come back then on this road towards Bishopston, and you're just going to go straight through this time. And like I said, it's a fairly straightforward road back. I'll show you what you have to look forward to right at the end. If you haven't seen this course already, you're going to have this wonderful... there's a shortcut here, by the way, if none of you knew. So, you know, you're going to be coming this way, like on this road, and then the B4436, and then taking a left. There's a lane right here, like just before it, that you can just come out in Kittle. Anyway, I'm not telling you to do that. I'm not telling you to cheat. I'm just saying there's a shorter route. So, no doubt they'll put marshals there to stop you from going that way. But then you come through Kittle. You've got an awesome descent through Bishopston. You've got to climb out, though, quite savagely out to there. But then once you get to the top, you've got this really nice, like, it's sort of, I guess it's moorland again, but you're going to be going down into Males and what we call Black Pill, which is where there's a really awesome cycle path, which you won't be seeing, unfortunately. Although if you're here a couple of days in advance, like, I would definitely recommend going up the Climb Valley cycle path, rather than just going up and down Mumbles, potentially, because it's a really nice place, but I'm biased. So you're going to come down this section of road, which they've recently been doing work on. They've been building a cycle path right next to it, so it's actually, like, I think they've... you know, the road surface itself is pretty decent. So this is where you're going to come. You're going to come down this road, and the descent starts right about here, where this junction takes off to the right. The Centurion, which has just taken place, it's just finished today actually. The Mumble Centurion, they were taking that right turn there. So you're going to come down here, and it goes down initially, then it flattens off, and then it goes down properly, and it's another sort of fast descent, really, but it's dead straight. So there's not... I can't think... There's only a couple of places on this route that are technical. Like I showed you that first bit early on, down into Caswell Bay. There's not actually that many places that are like that technical that you'd be worried about your safety, or, you know, at the end of the day, it all comes down to speed. Like, safety is it's all relative. Like, it depends how fast you go. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, like, this in some way has given you a little bit of confidence to push yourself in some places, but then a little bit of, like, you know, just cool beans on on a couple of places where you think like, yeah, it's not worth it. You know, it's mainly in the lanes where you'll be second guessing yourself because you don't know where the road is going, or you can't see the road itself. So these main roads, you know, you'll be fine at. You really will be fine at. So then you jump back onto this road, which you will be familiar with. This is the main road. It's absolute carnage with these cars on it. You'll be heading in that direction when you head out towards Mumbles. So you'll be coming down here and following this road all the way back into Swansea. And, you know, you talk about the boulevard, it really is. Like, it is quite literally a boulevard. It's like dead straight. It's like 4 lanes. It will all be closed. You know, I'm 99.9% sure it will be fully closed, this road. Or maybe they just open 1 lane for traffic or something. I don't know. But it's going to be quick down here, unless you have that headwind that we talked about. But yeah, you can have a nice ride back, I think, into transition. Sorry, I'm using proper terminology. And a nice view as well. You know, it's probably going to be one of the most scenic ones you've ever done, potentially. This, it is. I believe it. This could potentially be one of the most scenic Ironman courses potentially in the world. Not that I know many, but maybe I'm biased. But still, yeah, it will be. And then you come back into the marina, which I think is where your transition area is. And then I have no idea where your run is. But yeah, you know, I'm open to any questions, but also I have a feeling that, you know, maybe everyone's hiding behind their sofa now or something. I don't know. Fair play. I wanted to keep it 30 minutes, but it's almost 45 minutes. So we'll probably wrap it up at 45 minutes. It took me long enough to go live as it was. Anything else you should know? I've talked about the weather. Spectator spots. Mumbles hotspot. I love the fact they use like pubs as the hotspots. Like, that's pretty interesting. The Secret Beach Bar and Kitchen, which is in Swansea, is a really nice place. It's usually rammed though, so I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know what it would be like on event day. I'm assuming if it's a traffic-free area, then more people will be on foot, and therefore more people potentially will be there because, you know, they haven't got much else to do. Blackpool Lido. You'll see the people come off that sweeping descent, so that might be a good place to watch that last 5 miles to see who's in the lead with 5 miles to go on the bike. Transition, obviously. I love actually watching transition. The limited amount of times I've been there. Eastern Farm Shop in Old Walls. Yeah, you'll see them twice. That's a good spot. Oh, they'll have a barbecue. Oh, that's nice. That's a good spot. So that's over here. That is. That is Old Walls is here. So you get to see the riders come back this way, and then they do this loop, and then you see them come back through here. So yeah, it's a good spot actually. Plus, if you're quick enough, you could then ride or drive to there, potentially, and might even be able to see them again for a 3rd time. Any other spot? King Arthur's Hotel. Yeah, I spoke about that in Reynoldston. That's a really nice place. And yeah, Britannia Inn, which is where that really actually that would be my spot. That would be that'd be the spot I'd go to. It's the furthest place away, but the Britannia Inn, where that really sharp right hander is. Yeah, if you want to see some if you want to see some people get it wrong and maybe just go straight on rather than trying to make the corner at too high a speed, then yeah, that would be my spot. I don't know why. I just like watching technical sections. That's just me. So the wind is going to play a little bit of a part, probably. It's been windy here the last couple of days, and the wind has been picking up which has also brought in some mixed weather. So hence why I said I don't know whether or not you're going to have good weather or bad weather, because it's really like, it looks like it's really unsettled this week. I don't think it's going to be super strong though. And what I would say is, looking at like some forums and other YouTube videos and comment sections, a lot of people asking, there's a question there now about the TT bike or a road bike. It depends what your worry is. If your worry is like speed, I mean, there's no doubt that on this route, there's only a couple of I know the profile looks savage, but there's only a couple of climbs where you're going to be going like slow enough that a road bike is probably going to outweigh the time trial bike. There's areas where you'll be going uphill, but you'll still be going uphill at like 15, 16 mile an hour. Do you know what I mean? So potentially the aero benefit of a time trial bike is still going to outweigh the road bike. What I'd say is, there's nowhere really where, you could say that a road bike gives you more confidence on a descent. I've been through a couple of places in this recce now where there's places where, you might need a bit more anchor power, which obviously on a road bike you'd feel more confident giving it more on some steeper descents. But because it's a closed road, or mainly closed road, and there's only like one or two sections where you might feel like you need that confidence, then again, a time trial bike outweighs it. Like, what I would say is, if you've already got a time trial bike, don't change it just for this. It's not going to be, I think, if people said, oh, it's full of portals, or oh, it's full of like cattle grids, and like, oh, it's full of, technical sharp descents, like, it's not really. And I think that's all you need to do is just give the course a little bit of respect. Like, don't come into this course thinking that like you can race it like full gas everywhere. You've got to like give it some respect in some areas where like you give it a bit more brake and a little bit more patience through some of the bends, as opposed to like events. Maybe I'm not familiar with the majority of them, but events where maybe you don't climb as much, so you don't have that technicality aspect. Just make sure, do a little bit of a run through, which I'm sure you do already with like your bikes and like your equipment. For those cattle grades, for example, like just run maybe a tad more pressure than you normally do, because the last thing you want to do is like slam into a cattle grade and pinch that tire as you're going over it. There's only probably one or two categories where that might happen, but you want to kind of eliminate that as best as possible, don't you? So just running like 5-10 psi more, it's nothing mental, but like just give you that bit of peace of mind. Plus, make sure like bolts in and around like your handlebar region, your saddle, your seat post, just make sure they're tight. Don't tighten them up to like where you're going to break something. Just make sure they're snug, because again, you don't want to be going over anything where something could happen like that. So when people say it could be like a rough course, it's only as bad as your preparation, I suppose. But there's nothing out there where I would say like it's I can't believe they've chosen this course sort of thing. It's a pretty decent course, and as Zeke has said there in the live chat, there's plenty of like fast sections, there's plenty of straight sections, there's plenty of sort of motorway sections, like that South Road here, that's a section where like you're out there for like best part of like 20-25 minutes on that section of road. You're going to be making up a little bit of time on someone potentially on a road bike, or if you were to put yourself against a ghost rider and you were the ghost rider as well, you'd be doing the same power, but you'd be going slightly slower on a road bike. Like, there's nothing on that section of road that would slow you down if you're on a road bike. Sorry, if you're on a time trial bike, like, you're more than likely going to gain on a TT bike on most of this course. Like 95% of this course is faster on a TT bike. So, and I kind of, not that I know, I've not ridden the whole course, but I've ridden the course, in bits over the years many, many times. And you know, we've done time trials on this road here, which you don't ride the first 5 miles of it, but it comes to Llanmadoc on this road, which is fairly flat, and then turns and comes on this road you're going to be doing, and it's known as a really hilly time trial. But you know, hilly is all relative, isn't it? But like, it's quite hilly, it's quite lumpy, but I've still averaged 27 mile an hour on it. But that's been on a road bike, and I have done it on a time trial bike, and I've been like 20 seconds faster. But that's just on that section of road. So you imagine, like, that's a 10 mile time trial. You imagine doing a 50 mile time trial, and you could be saving yourself like 5 minutes over the course of it. So just think about it in practical terms. Think about, you know, where you're going to save your energy, and like I said, those little tweaks that will really help you, like, avoid a pinch flat or anything like that. So yeah, I didn't even read that there when someone asked about the tire pressure. Ironman have put flyers through roads on or linking into route with closure info, so hopefully people around will know. Yeah, I'm sure they do, Simon. Yeah, I mean, you know, an Ironman event it's a pretty big event, isn't it? So, yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, I think that wraps it up. Then I don't want to take up everybody's evening. But obviously, I know how much you guys prepare for stuff like this. Like, I know how, you know, how much you put into it. So it's only right that, like, I dedicate something as vast as this video to that. So what's the elevation gain? We can do a quick little map for you now, roughly. So we're gonna head out this way, and Mumbles, pure, I should use my personal heat map, like, you'll be able to see where I've ridden actually. There we go, there's my personal heat map. Just absolutely covers the area. So stick with the global. This way, this way, this way. Back down. Straight through. And this is very rough, so excuse me. And there we have it. So it's 1,200 meters in 90k. So it's, yeah, it's not crazy, but, well, saying that, it's 1,200 meters in, take away 20k, 70k, because the first 10 and the last 10 roughly are flat and downhill. So, I mean, I suppose it is a little bit, but, you know, you see it a lot more in these little lumps rather than these big sort of big climbs. So you're all gonna love it. You're all gonna absolutely love it. And if I can get out on Sunday morning, I will come and cheer you on. I might try and be, where will I try and be? I might try and be over here somewhere on this first 20 miles around here. Yeah, so that's going to be it. Thank you so much. If some of you are new, then please consider subscribing. And I'm not a triathlete, or maybe I will be in like 15 years time when I can't be competitive in cycling, and I feel like I need to scratch a different itch. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of it, and if you did, enjoy, and please let me know in some way, shape or form. I'd be glad to have your feedback. So hope you have a wonderful evening and a good event. If you're doing it next week, I might even see you there. So that's it from me, and I will see you in the next one. I'm not really good at signing these off, by the way. And it just takes me forever. So see ya.